Nice. Okay, good. So here's the deal. You can ask anything you want. I won't promise I'll answer all the questions, but I'm going to read through here as best I can and try to figure out the kind of things that you guys want to know. So that's pretty exciting. But more importantly, I'm excited to just be in the same space, virtually, so to speak, with all of you at the same time. So let me see if I can catch up with this because there are like hundreds of messages now. So we've got, let's see, switch back. All right, let's try that. Hey, Kevin in the house. Thank you, sir. Let's see, are you going to screwdriver when it's released? I have never heard of, what is that, Gleico? Geico? I don't know. I haven't heard of their screwdriver, don't know anything about it. I'm going to scroll back to the top and try to catch up a little bit. Let's see here. So we've got, how do I supply three-phase motor by single phase? And that's an easy one. I made a whole video on that, so you can search my channel for multiple, I don't remember what I called it, but there's several ways to create three-phase from single phase. And I show you 3 ways to do that. What books or information did you study to become proficient at electronics? Well, wow. I would actually say, let's flip this like this. Okay. So I would say probably a pretty wide combination of searching the web, watching YouTube videos, which it's very easy to find good introductory information on YouTube. But once you start to dig into the weeds, there are fewer and fewer people interested in that topic, and thus there's going to be fewer videos on it. But I do have my library kind of right behind me here. So that sounds exciting, right? Let's see, AC theory. So this is just one of the books that I use. There's a complementary book that's just as exciting, DC theory. But books like this, I go through to dig into the weeds and really learn more. But it's kind of up to you how you learn. And I would say I usually start by searching, typically the way I investigate a topic. This is probably worth talking about. Is I will start by trying to solve a problem. So there's a particular thing I want to accomplish, and then I will, try to find that information. And I will only dig deeper as I need to in order to solve the problem that's in front of me. And that has coalesced into a huge body of knowledge just by investigating problems. So the more typical method of like, you pick up a book and you read the whole thing and you've acquired this whole volume of knowledge is not as helpful in my opinion, unless you're just curious about the topic in general and don't have a particular thing you want to accomplish. But I usually start with a more focused search and broaden the search in order to find the other information I'm interested in. But I've got a huge collection of books over here to do exactly that. So yeah. All right. I won't show any more books because then I'll miss a whole bunch of questions. All right, let's scroll down. There's some random conversation here. So we'll skip that. How about I move this right there? Pick up a book. Don't want to offend, but what's in the most recent video, you go through things like momentum and power. I wonder if it's typical people do not know high school level physics. No offense, just wondering. Well, in my opinion, it's not that they've never learned it, but you forget. I mean, most people do. And from my experience reading the comments, a lot of people don't actually understand what power is and the difference between power and torque. So I thought it was worth explaining that before I got into the whole video itself. But everybody's going to be different. They're going to be people with a lot of knowledge, people with very little knowledge. And I've also noticed that people who've got a lot of years of experience tend to think of some of these things as being like, it's so simple, why don't everybody know that? But it's only because it's been so far in your past that you've seen that information, it seems elementary to you. But if you're not using it regularly, you forget. I'm looking at the wrong camera. Should be that one. To do more conversation about that. Please forgive me if I scroll past your question. I might miss some. There's some more comments about single phase versus three phase. And a bunch of people saying hello. Hello, Ryan, Jason, Daniel, and Andrew, and some other people. So that's awesome. I should explain what Super Chat is because I haven't done that yet. So Super Chat is a way to support the content. It takes a lot of energy and effort to get all this stuff into place. And to meet like this, I've set aside some time to take all your questions, even engineering questions, which is something I don't normally do because, well, for a lot of reasons. But anyway, so don't email me about your projects because I can't help all of you. There are thousands of you and there's one of me. So just please understand, I'm not going to answer if you email me asking for help on your project. I just can't do it. I'm really sorry. That's all I can say. My family would much rather me be with them. All right. So, Super Chat. So anyway, if you hit that button at the bottom, it'll highlight your message. I'm more likely to see it. And I'll definitely try to call out all the people who do a Super Chat. Like, I'm going to butcher this name. What is that? Celsian Built? Oh, I had to mess that up. Anyway, thanks for the Super Chat. That's awesome. But it's a way to help support me in building more projects and making more teaching content for you guys. So please use it. All right. Anyway, scrolling. Let's see. Wow, there are a lot of comments now. I am only halfway down. Hello from Kenya. Hello, Elijah. And let's see here. Thanks to all of you. Good morning. UK in the house. Andy, good morning. Good to see you. Greetings from Oregon. That's Greg. Maybe turn a light on. I got a couple of lights. I don't know. I hope this is bright enough. It's not going to get much brighter than this. So let's see here. Neil, hello. How you doing? Isaac, thank you for the comment. That is beautiful, sir. Somebody asked a question on Twitter. Why can't I find any? I don't know why you can't find any. When you show your CNC table saw work system, that did not come through in translation very well. I didn't understand. Let's see. Well, have you seen Destin and Stuff Made Here collab yet? Yes. Destin didn't tell me until after he recorded it that he was going to do it, but I did know before the video came out. So it was interesting to see that. I saw that was released this morning. Both videos were awesome, by the way. You guys should definitely go check them out. So that's really cool. I'm glad he did that. Hello from Canada. And all right, I'm going to scroll a little faster. There's a lot of new stuff at the bottom. Let's see, why is it so hard to purchase electric motors from online stores? They're so scattered around. Well, I don't usually buy electric motors new. I often buy them from industrial auctions. So if you just get online and search for industrial auctions, you'd be surprised how many of them are, and they're often surprisingly close. So the closest one to me, it's not really an auction, it's just a place that buys old equipment and sort of collects it. It's about an hour or so away from me, but I'll drive over there every once in a while and just walk through the warehouse. They let me do that. You'll be amazed at the stuff you can find, all the different sizes. And typically you can get something that is, what was that? I think I just saw another super chat pop up. Did I miss that? Hey, there we go. Kevin, the Davis. That was the one, the Davis. Thank you, sir. Thanks for answering my question. Okay, good. So what was I saying? Industrial auctions. Search for them. They're worth having. They're pretty awesome. And if I ever have to buy one new, then, I mean, you just got to dredge through it and find it. Great videos. Thank you. See what I mean? There are a lot of you guys. I'm going to take a sip here. Yet another super chat. This is Mike. Thank you, Mike. You're awesome, dude. All right. Questions. How can I transform 120 AC from a generator to 240 AC? Well, you're going to need a step-up transformer. And I think that's probably all I'm going to say from here. You're going to have to do some web searching from that. But basically, you just need a step-up transformer to go from 120 AC to 240. Now, when you step up the voltage, you're going to get half the current out. So you need to make sure you've got enough power available as well. And that's probably all I should dig into that one. There's more conversation about physics. And let's see, what is your view on HVDC transmission? Wow, I don't actually know what that is, so I don't have an opinion on it. Is that a fair answer? All right. Chris, inspiring. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hello from Georgia. Hello from the home of engineering, Germany. I don't know how to feel about that, Luke. That is, I think I'll just leave that there. Tyler, the relay videos were great. Thank you, sir. That was a lot of fun. And it was really good. It was really good to have the kids involved too. I love getting them into projects as often as I can. Am I getting close? Okay, good. I'm catching up a little bit. Again, sorry if I've skipped some comments. You can try to post it again if you like in a different section. Super chat's an option as well. What are your views? I read that one. What advice would you give to a final year mechanical engineering student? What advice would I give? Wow. I think the most important thing that you can do in engineering is be honest when you don't know. To me, that is absolutely the number one skill you got to have, because working as an engineer in the professional field, you're gonna get a lot of problems that you don't know the answer to. And other engineers, and they know that they get problems they don't understand, and they can also tell when you don't really know the answer. So if you just admit right up front, like, hey, I have no idea how to do that, or I don't know how to figure that out, but I will, just that open honesty, being transparent and being upfront about it is probably the first most important skill you need to develop. Just be humble, like, I have no idea, but we'll figure it out. Everybody loves that attitude. That's the attitude you want to have in your engineering career. And remember, you're being hired to solve problems. You're solving the problem because nobody else has solved it, or at least solved it in a way that you need to solve it. So if you can master that attitude of like, I don't know, but I'll figure it out, then that will take you light years into your engineering career. And then also figure it out, because that's your job. Okay. I know you're a light years past making simple shop tools out of old parts, but those videos were awesome. Should you make some more of them? Well, it's not so much that I'm light years away from it, but it's just a combination of what do I think will be interesting, which also gives me the opportunity to teach you guys something. See, I have this secret. My real goal is to get all of you excited about engineering. That's what I really want. But engineering by itself, especially the way it's taught in school, is not that exciting at all. We mostly think of engineering as like a bunch of math problems and calculus. By the way, you actually don't use calculus that much in real engineering. But anyway, that's the way it's presented. So if I can somehow show that amazing things can happen when you apply these engineering principles, then that's really my goal. I want to get you to click on the video with this awesome engineering project. And by the way, I'm going to teach you some engineering along the way. That's what I really want. So whatever project will allow me to accomplish that goal, then that's what I'm going to do. Sometimes that's taking apart an old piece of junk and making something cool out of it. Sometimes I need to buy new stuff in order to do that. And then that's where you guys come in, because those projects get really expensive. So this is a good opportunity to say thank you to my patrons, because you guys make a lot of this possible. So thanks for that. All right. Am I scrolling fast enough? Okay, here we go. Gerald, super chat. Thank you for that. Gerald 42. Yeah, there we go. I don't know. Okay. Uh, what advice would you give to an engineering student who's bad at building prototypes? Oh man, I suggest you practice building prototypes. All types of engineering doesn't require that, but it is a skill that has helped me tremendously because it allows me at a very cheap level to try out a design before I actually make the real thing. But at the industrial level, which is what I do on my day job, when you those types of things, they're very difficult to prototype. The equipment is so large, you're going to have to really get the idea nailed down before anybody ever builds anything. And in those cases, your prototype is your 3D model, and obviously your mind to combine those ideas to make sure you're getting accomplished what you want to get done. But anyway, let's see here. Second, your comment on being honest and transparent when you don't know or you're not sure about something. Yeah, that's true. As engineers, we don't need to know everything. Absolutely. Let's see. Jamal, thank you for the super chat, sir. Dude, you're awesome. Not a question. You don't have to ask a question, man. That is huge. Thank you so much. Loris, I have a 3-phase asynchronous motor that I want to run on single phase. How much power do I lose approximately? Well, it depends on how you're supplying it. So typically what happens if you are using like a VFD that takes single phase power in and is putting out 3-phase, there's really no power loss except, some of the loss within the VFD itself. It's consuming some power. But essentially what you're going to do is draw more power from single phase to make up for the difference. But in the end, the motor is going to be able to output the same amount as long as it's actually receiving 3-phase at the terminals. And assuming that your power supply on the single phase side can handle the full power needed by the motor. All right. What a good YouTube series for learning electric systems from the very beginning. That stuff is my kryptonite. All right. Anthony, hey, Jeremy, what degree did you get in college? So, what degree did I get in college? So that question should not be a hard one, but it is because I don't have an engineering degree. I am pretty much self-taught, and yeah, so yeah, I have a bachelor's degree and about 90% of a master's degree. After I moved into engineering, I stopped working on that other degree because I didn't need it anymore. But I think what I'm willing to say here is that it's a science-based degree that's not an engineering degree. I didn't take any engineering classes in college, but yeah, so I have a bachelor's degree. It's not in engineering, any form of engineering. Let's see, AJM, hey, could you acknowledge my comment? It was just my birthday, and that will be the best present ever. Today's your birthday? Okay, that's pretty awesome. Happy birthday, man. That's, or woman? Man, I can't tell by the initials. I hope I'm not getting that wrong. Well, I said both, right? So I should be good. Oh, man. Happy birthday, man. That's awesome. And, whoa, big super chat just jumped on top. Tell me anything about teaching your kids engineering and problem solving, especially for youngsters. Okay, this is like my passion here. So I'm going to switch over to the wide camera. Let's do that. Okay, so it's my secret mission to get all my kids interested in engineering, the girls and the boys. So what I do is everything I build, I try to find some aspect of it that I think will be interesting to them, and I show it to them. I talk about this a little bit in my relay video, like an introduction to relays. So the main premise is this. I just want them to be excited about it. It doesn't mean they actually have to go into an engineering career. I would never force them to do anything like that. But I try to pay attention to what interests them, and then I see where that matches the things that I want to portray. So in that video, I talk about how my wife showed some interest in woodworking and she made some chairs. So I said, well, what if I showed her that there was a way to automate this process of making chairs, making it easier? She didn't plan to make any more chairs, at least not at the time, but it was something she was interested in. And it was a really interesting catalyst to see how excited she was to go, oh, wow, look at that. Look what this can do. And then that's what gives that spark to make you want to know more. So my oldest son shows the most interest in engineering. And so I will often bring him into the shop, give him projects just like, son, I need you to make this for me, like whether I really need it or not. Like I'll ask him to make it. And just to get him in the practice of building things, learning those skills, like I get passionate just thinking about it. So I hope that helps. The most important thing is pay attention to what they're interested in and see where it overlaps with engineering and bring that to them. And I think that'll be the beginning of what will get them all excited about it. All right, let's see here. I've got, I got to scroll a little bit. I'm getting behind, I think. What did the final cost of the CNC end up being? So the all the parts that I had to purchase, that includes everything I bought at auction, all of the relays, the controllers, like everything. I had a spreadsheet. It was 11,700 and some change. I don't remember the exact number, but that was the cost of all the parts. And if you consider that, the size of the motor that I got, the servo motors, all of that stuff, it was all pieced together from various auctions, buying things on eBay. Most of the electronics was new though. So I also did the math on figuring out like the things I learned along the way, because I was a total amateur when I built that. I had never built a CNC machine, never bought parts. I didn't know what I needed. So I redid it and I ended up being able to save around $1,000 at the end if I had known at the beginning what I knew at the end. So anyway, just different options and things that I bought that would do the same job, things like that. Not so much just finding better prices, but using different stuff to accomplish the same job. All right, I'm gonna switch back to webcam. And let's see if I can catch up with this chat here. Teaching the kids, yes. Camera focus is off a bit. Hey, thanks for that. Let's see. This webcam is tricky. Let me see, can I get it back in focus? And yeah, it messes with me every once in a while. So I'm going to apologize in advance. This one gets kind of wonky on me. I can barely tell, but I think that's more in focus now. Let's see. How do you control the speed of your motors wirelessly? Well, that's a more complicated question than I want to get into here. It's definitely possible. It's just a series of, well, even that doesn't make it sound any simpler, but it can be done. And I think it depends also on what do you mean by wirelessly. If you want to have like a key fob that you can push or something like that, you would need to be able to communicate between the two devices. I don't want to dig into the weeds here on that one. It's complicated, but definitely can be done. That might make an interesting video though, so I will write that idea down. Let's see. I have a welder with a 30 amp max draw. I cut the 15 amp cord and put on a 30 amp plug. Am I in any danger of melting my welder? Okay, I have a welder with a 30 amp max draw. I cut the 15 amp plug off. The welder had a 15 amp plug on it? That's weird. I don't know how to answer that because you don't know this gauge of the wire that's in the actual cable itself. That could melt the gauge of the wire inside the welder. So yeah, it sounds like you bought the wrong welder, if I'm understanding your question correctly. Please consider a video on reluctance motors. I have thought about that. It's on my list. And I don't know. How interested are you guys in that topic? I've kind of avoided it because it's not all that common a motor from what I can tell. I mean, I don't want to claim to be an expert on the use of reluctance motors, but from my personal experience, the topic doesn't come up that often. So I don't know. How do you get over a breakup? Lots of prayer and maybe some calming music and long walks is what I would recommend. This dude better than most of the people with a degree. Thank you for that. Thank you. That's awesome. Um, so, related to that though, I should say that when I say I'm self-taught, there are books that I used. For example, let's go back to the library here. My two favorites would be this old guy, Design of Machinery. So not something you want to read when you're sleepy, but it's still cool. And then this one, which is a book that you would find in any engineering class, not any engineering class, but this is a book you would probably get assigned at some point in school if you went to school. This dude is super helpful. It doesn't just have to be Shigley's though. I mean, any mechanical engineering design book. So books like this were really helpful. So I want to be clear that I'm not just like shooting from the hip. I did, do my homework, and especially for my day job where I have to do it at a professional level, I do have to be able to do the math and actually calculate whether my device is safe or not, whether it's strong enough or not. I don't cover that stuff in my YouTube videos because I think it's not enough to draw in the beginner to intermediate, which is the group I'm most interested in teaching. I think as you get more and more advanced, then I don't know, it just appeals to a smaller group of people. And I'm trying to get people off the couch, those who are interested, but they're intimidated, they're afraid, or they don't think that they can do it. That's the primary group I'm interested in. I want to edge them over into the this is possible, and maybe I can learn this stuff. So yeah, so this is required if you're going to do engineering at the professional level. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that comment in there because you made me think about it. So, oh man, I missed a couple. Let's see here. Supreme Goat Leader, thank you for all that you do in the community. I've learned so much and looking forward to more. You continue to inspire. Oh, thank you for that. That's amazing. The ADD Maker, your videos are a great reference. What's a good resource for wiring DC motors? I have a single phase with 8 wires coming out of it. Afraid I'll fry it. Well, you wouldn't typically think of it as single phase if it's DC. If I'm understanding your question correctly, DC being direct current, you don't typically describe it as being single or 3-phase, with the exception of brushless DC motors. Sometimes those are also called 3-phase motors, but that's digging into a topic that is, there's some nomenclature issues there, and maybe that's what you're referring to. So I think I'll have to pass on that question. It's a little bit too complicated for this quick flowing forum, but thank you for the super chat. That's awesome. Let's see here. Scrolling back just to see if I missed anything. Well, I missed some for sure, I know. Who gets to keep the supersonic baseball cannon? Okay, so Destin gets to keep the supersonic cannon, unfortunately. But I do have a miniature cannon. See that? Isn't that cool? When I was designing the trailer and barrel and all that good stuff, I scaled it down and then designed, because I was excited about it, I also designed a scaled down version. And then I 3D printed it and I keep it on my desk. So I can't fire baseballs out of this, obviously, but that was an awesome project. You guys should go check out that video, by the way. It's pretty cool. So yes, Destin gets to keep the cannon, and I do get to go fire it sometimes though. So that's cool. All right, I think I went too far back. Let me scroll down a little bit. Electro Noobs, dude, I am subscribed to your channel, man. If anybody else is not subscribed, you should go check him out. He makes cool stuff about electronics. And thank you for the super chat, man. That's awesome. Love your work and lessons. You explain so calm, and we understand everything. Thank you for the good work. Any thoughts on the Tesla SIM RM motor? I don't know much about that motor. Unfortunately, I haven't looked into it. I do get lots of questions about the Tesla motor though, so I'm wondering if I should make a video on that. Yeah, I'm going to consider that. So here's what I want to do to keep from like filling up the chat. If you guys will go over to the comment section and let me know if you want to see something about the Tesla motors and the different versions, put that in the comment section so it doesn't like flow in the chat. But I'll use that to try to figure out if I want to make a future video on that. But keep it in the chat if you want me to respond, now. So that would be good. Somebody else said I'm out of focus again. So I'm back in focus here. Maybe that worked. I don't know. So let's see. Listening from Los Angeles, California. Love your videos. Keep them coming. Love the collab videos you do with other YouTubers. I am enjoying the collabs as well. Destin is a really good friend, and it's just fun working with him. So I don't want to give too much away too soon, but you'll see me on Destin's channel several more times. I mean, we've come up with a whole bunch of stuff to do together, so that'll be a regular thing probably over the next year, actually, because some of these things are pretty amazing. Anyway, do you think it's possible to learn everything you need online for free? I'm going to say no, because there's always going to be a threshold where the value of putting it on the internet doesn't match the number of people who are interested in it. So at some point, you're going to need to jump online and order some books or go to some really obscure places to figure out, what you need. And I would even go a step further and say some things you need to hire an expert and just find somebody who's really knowledgeable, who can teach you or counsel you on a topic. I've even gone so far as to hire somebody to say, hey, I don't know how to do this now, but I want you to do this for me and show me how you did it. And so even things like that can be really helpful to picking up new skills, but you got to be willing to spend some money on that, I think, to go to that next level. All right. Oh, I thought that was a Bible for a second. Oh, wait, hold on. Do I have okay. I do have a Bible. It's not right over here on my shelf, though. But yes, that book is pretty essential, too. All right, great book choice. Can I dissolve a body with some acid? I probably shouldn't answer that in the live stream, but just about anything is possible with the right mind. I'm currently in a class that is assigned to Shigley's Mechanical Engineering Design. Yep, that's what I thought. All right, I'm going to put these away because I'm bumping into them. I feel like I'm reading fast. Am I reading too fast? Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. No, you are not interrupting. Thank you, the Davis. That is the D Davis. Okay, let's make sure I was reading that right. And Supreme Go. Did I read that one already? I think I did. Yes, I did. Okay, good. It just stays at the top for a while, so I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. And okay, I'm catching up a little bit. We definitely want to see a video on how to control motors wirelessly, perhaps remotely. Okay. All right. Have you seen the Hacksmith's plasma lightsaber? I have not. Yeah, I haven't. I don't follow his channel. Watching you, I know who he is, but I don't subscribe or anything. And I don't mean that to sound like an insult or anything either. I hope not. Just not my kind of content. Let's see. Destin's channel is called Smarter Every Day. Smarter Every Day. So you should head over there and subscribe. Also, if you're here and you are not subscribed, if you look up at the top and that subscribe button is not hit, you should hit that because obviously you want to see when I post things, right? Like you're here live. So go ahead and click that button. And related to that, it's worth answering that a bunch of you send me emails and comments saying that you don't get notified when I post a new video. I even get comments like people saying, oh, you're posting videos again, as if it's been years since I posted a video. But I post about once a month. It's about as fast as I can do it. And if you click the little bell next to subscriptions, you'll get a notification from YouTube. It's not automatic. YouTube tries to figure out if you will want to see the video, even if you're subscribed. And if for whatever reason the algorithm doesn't think you're interested, it won't send it to you. But even more importantly, it's basing that decision based on the people who watched it before you. So this is where it gets tricky. Instead of it sending a notification to everyone, it just sends it to a small sample. And that small sample kind of decides for everyone else if you'd be interested in the video or not. So if you want to override that, you have to click the bell. Hopefully that was clear. All right, so hit subscribe and click the bell. I almost never ask you guys to do that in videos because I think it just adds a lot. It adds time to the video that I don't want to add. I try to keep everything real concise. But anyway, all right, let me catch up here. This is dope. I had no idea how many people are inspired by you. Thank you. Hello, hello. Let's see. All right, I'm going to take a sip here. Wow, there are so many of you guys. This is amazing. I'm going to switch cameras here. Let's go to the GoPro, which should stay wide. There we go. Hey, another piece of advice. I think you should keep a little notebook on your desk. I mean, I made a custom notebook here, but something that you can just scribble in to get your ideas down when you have them and don't miss them. I also use my iPad for that, but every once in a while, the iPad's out of reach. So I like to have like a backup in case the pin's dead, or not that that happens a lot, but if I can't keep them all in my iPad, it'll be on my hard copy. All right, let's see. At what point does keeping a lot of motors become a problem, and is there a motorholic? All right, this is actually a really good question. I have a shelf dedicated to motors, actually 3 shelves, and that's kind of my inventory space. So I've decided that if it doesn't fit in that space, I should sell it, and I will usually just list it on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. And I get rid of the duplicates, because if you try to keep them all, you're going to run out of space. I mean, unless you really are just a pack rat, which I don't suggest. I feel like mine is tempered in that I've decided this is how much space I want to dedicate to electric motors. And if I fill that space up, then, the motor's got to go. The extra one's got to go. I am trying to build a collection of different types, though, because I think that electric motors is a really essential theme that's not covered very well on YouTube. So anytime I get an opportunity to get a unique motor type, then I will almost always try to keep that one over keeping like another induction motor or whatever. And that way I have it so I can teach on it if I want. Let's see here. Do you have any resources or knowledge about metal cutting teeth? I want to build a CNC powered hacksaw with auto feed. Well, I guess the short answer is no. You're going to have to do some homework on that one. That's not something I could answer like right off the top of my head. All right. So, hey, Super Chat. Wesley. Thanks for the phase shifting caps for running a 3-phase on single phase. I made a box with it. Old industrial welder in my garage. Dude, that's awesome, man. I'm so glad you got that project done. That's pretty cool. That's what we want. That's the whole reason I post videos, actually, for stuff like that. I want you guys to be able to get things done. I was interviewed for an article online, and one of the questions they asked was, what inspires you or what's your motivation? And one of my responses, a part of a pretty long response, was that I want people to get off the couch. If you have a problem you want to solve, I want to show you that it can be done and how to do that. So it's my goal to make every video practical when I can. I'm also trying to entertain a little bit. Otherwise, people won't click on it, and then very few people will actually see it. Those people who are already doing it, who might click on a more boring video, which I'm describing as boring for the sake of this conversation, those people are already interested. I'm also trying to reach those who are a little bit less interested and get them off the couch. I want people to be excited about engineering. So I'm hoping to do a dual role there. I want to make some videos that really excite and motivate, and then I also want to make some videos that dig in a little bit deeper and teach. And it's really tough to find that balance, but I'm trying every time. Every time, that's what I'm trying to do. Have you ever thought about making a motor? The answer is yes and no. It kind of depends on what you mean. So I wanted to be able to show people how simple a motor is. So I made a video called something like how to making a motor from microwave parts. And I literally took apart a microwave and used the parts inside of a microwave to make a motor. That is a YouTube video on my channel. But in terms of like making a motor that's really useful that I would actually run a project with, I haven't done that. And now in my day job, I'm actually designing a custom motor right now. It's not something I normally do. That's a little bit outside of my normal work, but I am designing a custom motor, a really high speed, like 30,000 RPM AC induction motor. So that's something that I'm actually working on. Will I make a video on that? Probably not, unless I make it in a way. Yeah, I'm not sure that I can make a video on that, so I don't know. But I have thought about it. I've actually done it, and there you go. All right, let's catch up a little bit. So we've got my favorite video where you are salvaging video, salvaging. Do you intend on making any more? Okay, I did answer that earlier. I will very likely make more salvage videos, and that is definitely something to come up in the future. What are the essential engineering handbooks in your library? Top 2 or 3? I like that question. That's really good. I would say, the ones I pick up the most would be the Shigley's book, looking for formulas and stuff like that to do some math. So that will be one. I've got Design of Machinery would be number 2. I showed this earlier for the same reason, although it's very similar to Shigley's in a lot of ways. And the Machinery Handbook. So for which camera I'm on this one. So Machinery Handbook would be number 3. You definitely need a copy of this. And if you go online, the new version is really expensive, but the book hasn't changed very much in like 50 years. So it doesn't really matter how old your copy is. Some people would debate on that, but don't feel bad about getting a brand new one. Just buy you an old copy, something that's at least like, a couple generations back, and it'll be just as good. So Machinery Handbook and Shigley's or something very similar, a mechanical engineering design book, will be my top 2. And because of the particular type of work I do, I also use the other one, mechanical design, because I design machines and custom parts. Oh. All right. Okay, so how are we doing? The chat is flying. You guys are amazing, man. I don't know. I'm feeling a lot of emotions right now just thinking about how many of you there are here. When I started this channel, I had no idea that there would be so many people interested in this topic. One of the first videos that I was really serious about like making a YouTube channel was the video that made me decide that I should do that, was how to wire a motor. And after I made that video, I thought, it's gonna be like 5 random dudes in their garage. Like nobody's gonna click on this. Nobody's interested in this. And I posted it and it had like 400,000 views in the first month. And I went like, really? I just had no idea that so many people around the world, people from Japan and all parts of Africa and Russia and just everywhere, people sending me emails, asking me say thank you so much. And in the comment section, I was just blown away. And that was the moment that I said, maybe I should keep doing this. So I really just thought, you know what? I found this to be a difficult topic. I didn't know how to do it at first. And when I figured it out, there were no YouTube videos showing people how to do it. What if I just make a video? And again, I just thought it would be like 5 people. I did not expect it to be 400,000 people. That video has millions of views now, but that just blew me away that it exploded out of the box so quickly like that. With a very tiny channel at the time. I mean, I had, it was in the single digits. Like I didn't have very many subscribers either. So yeah, anyway. Let's see here. Wow. All right, chat's screaming again. Gord, thank you, sir, for the $5. That's awesome. Ted Harris, what do you think of the free to fall philosophy from creators? Free to fail. Sorry, I read that wrong. What do you suggest to people with a large fear of failure? Well, I hope that they'll watch my videos because in reality, that's the message that I try to communicate all the time. And especially in the more recent videos, I've put more effort into showing when a project breaks or when it fails, because I don't want people to think of me as like this superhuman, hero guy who makes these amazing projects right out of the box and it always works. No, that is not true. I make lots and lots of failures. I make something, I think it's going to work, and it breaks, and then I learn something. And I go, wow, okay, that didn't work. Now what? So to me, if you don't come in it with an I am going to figure this out, no matter what goes wrong, then you've kind of defeated yourself before you start it. So sure, things break, wires break, stuff. Sometimes you think the problem is one area and you spend an hour and a half investigating that, only to figure out it's something totally unrelated. So the short answer after that long answer is absolutely, you have to expect to fail. Maybe that's the way I want to say it. Expect to fail at least a few times if you want to do anything worth accomplishing. If you want like a really simple, easy project, then, yeah, you won't fail at that because it's been done 1,000 times and it's been perfected. So you just copy someone else. But if you want to verge out into something that hasn't been done before, or if you just want to do something that is really challenging for you, you should expect to fail at least a couple dozen times. I mean, at least. All right. Maybe I answered that. I hope. Let's see here. Keep up the great work. Thank you, sir. Shank. London. Linden? I'm going to butcher some names today. I know it. I just know it. All right. Let's see here. Ooh. Lots more comments have blurped up while I was talking there. Let's see. Love your videos. This is Maximus. I subscribed after I saw the first one. Question, what is the best way to control the speed of a DC motor without the electronics from the treadmill? I covered that in a previous video, and it's basically how to control a large DC motor. And I show you 3 different ways to do it. One of them is with the treadmill parts, and the other 2 are some alternatives. So you should search my channel and you'll find that video there. I always tell my kids the hard part was done already. All you have to do is learn it. Yes, this is true. All right, scrolling down. Maybe I'm catching up. I read that one already, so I can skip ahead a little bit. Are you aware of any good channels that cover rewinding motors? The only thing I can find is in Asian languages. Well, what you can find is what I would find. And but the short answer is I don't know of any already. But yeah, it can be tough. I'm interested in more engineering channels, well, particularly mechanical engineering. There seems to be a fair number of electrical engineering channels, but mechanical, I don't know. That group seems to be pretty small. So I'm hoping to expand that group a little bit. Maybe I can invite some of you guys to get off the couch, and if you're making cool stuff at home and you're not recording it, start recording it. Maybe try it out. and then I'll have somebody else to watch. How many failures until you scrap it? Dennis, that's a fun question. Let's see. I don't really have a threshold. I would say it's directly proportional to my desire to accomplish the project. And yeah, actually, I don't think I can answer that better than that. Sometimes if I'm barely interested in a topic and it seems to be something that's the wall to get over it is really high, then it's kind of like, maybe I'll just buy it because there's often an option to just purchase it off the shelf. But if it's something I'm really interested in, then we shift from that desire to buy, even if it could be purchased, to making it because I'm really excited about the topic. So I make this analogy all the time. I tell people that, sometimes I get comments on my channel that say, oh, you could have just bought that thing for $150. Why did you spend $800 and all these number of hours building it? And that's the same question I would pose to someone who goes fishing every weekend. And you walk up to them and say, you can buy that fish at the store for like $10. Why do you sit out on this boat all weekend trying to catch that one fish? Well, it's sort of implied that he knows he can go fishing, right? But he enjoys the act of fishing. So the same applies here. I really get excited about making it myself, and it's my hobby. I enjoy it. I don't care what it costs. The same way that people spend ridiculous amounts on their fishing rods, on their boats, on their bowling balls, whatever it is that you're excited about. If you take your hobby and translate that into machine design and woodworking and welding, that's how I feel about my hobby. So maybe that answered your question. I'm not sure. I think I answered it. Let's see. Being able to take failure in personally is a hard skill for some people. I'm still learning. John, I would agree with that. Sometimes the failure, I don't know. I always think of it as something separate from myself, is the way I try to push it out to the side and just go, like lots of people fail. It's not just me who fails. And that's another reason why I try to show it in my videos, because I want people to know that, like, you see the final product and you think, wow, I wish I could do something like that. But you can, or at least you could get close for some. I get that there's a skills gap in some areas, but you have to be willing to keep trying. The sooner you give up, the more likely you are to, never accomplish. Well, when you give up, you're definitely not going to accomplish it. So if you can mentally separate the failure from you and just realize that lots of people doing cool things fail, and sometimes doing even mediocre things fail, you just got to keep trying until you develop the skill, the knowledge, and the project itself. But even beyond just the skill and the knowledge, sometimes you have sufficient knowledge and sufficient skill, but you just haven't applied it to this particular idea. And under those circumstances, you have to keep working the idea until you get it all fleshed out. That has nothing to do with your skill or your knowledge. It's just the thing in front of you. Oh boy, some more super chats popped up. Pale Rider, how about a video on ejection seat from the couch? That might be pretty fun, actually. I need to write that down. Ejection seat. Come on, give me a free page here. Bear with me, people. Ejection seat might be interesting. There's all kinds of possibilities for pneumatics. We can teach about pneumatics there. We can't use explosives, right? We don't want to hurt anybody. Pneumatics would be safer. It's very fast acting, so that would be the idea. You want something that can give a big burst of energy quickly without hurting the person on the couch. Yeah, something to think about. DeMarcus, it's a blessing to the world to see you teach with great understanding, explanations, and motivation from all of us. Thank you. Thank you, sir. That is, wow. Thank you. How do you get Solidworks to become a sponsor? Well, I just met the right person at the right time. I did not do anything special. I really think I was very fortunate to meet them, and the conversation happened and it just became a thing. I wish there was more to it and there was a recipe to say, oh, I called around and I sent a bunch of emails, and it was none of that. I just happened to be at the right table at the right time at ThinkerCon. Well, okay, so maybe ThinkerCon was a thing because it was a high concentration um, of influencers, as we're called now. Apparently, I don't think of myself as an influencer, but um, so we had this high concentration of people who publish things on the web, anybody who does internet teaching. And so it's podcasts, it's writing articles, and obviously YouTube as well. And I was invited, which I felt very fortunate to be there. And that's where I met someone from Solidworks. And we had an amazing conversation. And when she found out about some of the things I was doing and that I was using Solidworks, she said, how can we help? And so it was really amazing. How are we doing? Can you recommend any starter resources for learning SolidWorks? There are a whole bunch of videos on YouTube, and that's a great place to start for getting into some tutorials and learning the basics of using the software. They are definitely there. Now, me, on the other hand, I used one of those SolidWorks instructional books, and they have a book for each different version. You're supposed to take a class to get this book, so you didn't get this from me. But if you go on eBay, people often sell their books after they take the class, and the book is so good, it's just a walkthrough by itself. So that's how I got the books. And I didn't take the class, I just went through the walkthrough on my own. And I did that during my internship at the first engineering company that hired me. And so while working there as an intern, I was going through those SolidWorks books in order to make myself more proficient at the software. So the other thing is practice. You got to put in a lot of hours. And if you're not willing to do that, your learning is going to be slow. It's going to be directly proportional to the number of hours you put into it. All right. Let's see here. Wow, a few more have popped up. I've got, all right, we saw that. I am a software developer. This is John. So why can't I say that? Failures is why we build software. I need to approach shop stuff in the same way. Well said, my friend. Let's see. Ejection seat for the toilet would be more ideal. Ooh. Don't know about that one. Let's see. Success. There's some chatting amongst yourselves. I'm trying to find the next one. It's 10 a.m. in Alaska? Hey, welcome, Alaska. That's awesome. I'm going to switch back to the webcam here and maybe give you guys a closer shot. Are we back in focus here? I don't know. Okay. Let's try that. If it's out of focus, let me know, and I will switch back to the other camera and maybe just bail on the webcam. But I like the webcam because it's right underneath my chat. So I want you guys to kind of feel like I'm looking at you. I mean, I am looking at you, but eyes and yeah, you get it. All right. So let's see here. What time? Wow. It's been an hour. That's insane. You guys are amazing. Do you have a dog? Absolutely, I do. Her name is Lola. And hey, you know what? Hold on. Let's see here. Can I show you guys Lola? Can we do that? I think we can. I'm going to go call her to the door and let's see if she comes. Hey, Lola, come here. Hey, girl, come here. Come here. Come on. Oh, man. All right. Sorry about the delay there. She won't come in the bedroom. She's well trained. She knows she's not supposed to be in here on the carpet. So she doesn't come in. She doesn't come in the bedroom here. All right. But yes, I have a dog named Lola. You can see her in the latest video. She's playing in the background. So there you go. That's my dog. You also asked if the camera was in focus in the polite manner of, oh man. See, I've been enjoying your stuff. Thank you for the knowledge. What motor be a good replacement for a golf cart motor? Looking for a motor that is about 10 horsepower-ish. Well, golf cart motors are usually DC motors. So that's what I recommend. I hope that doesn't sound too simplistic of an answer. Which one are you seeing? You're seeing this one because I made it wide. Okay, to show you the dog. So the short answer is well, in reality, you need to just buy another golf cart motor. That's what I would search for. If you want something that'll really work, you can substitute stuff, but you're not going to have fun with that. Unless the goal is just to experiment and have fun, then you might try, any kind of DC motor that'll work with your controls. But that's how it gets more complicated. As you change the motor, you change the control scheme and the torque characteristics, and there's all kinds of stuff. Like if the motor is too high speed, then you might end up with something that doesn't have enough torque to actually get you to get the golf cart moving. So my recommendation would be to just replace it with the same motor or buy another version of the same motor. More questions. Beef. That's a cool screen name. How do you deal with work, family, and maintenance balance? Okay. This is a really delicate balance that I try to find because I have my day job, which is a full 40 hours a week. And then I have my YouTube channel, which is what I'm interacting with now. And this consumes a huge amount of time. You guys, I would say that on average, I spend at least 100 hours just editing. That's not the shooting of the video, which can take months for a lot of projects. I was recording the table saw video over about 4 or 5 months. The CNC build with the plasma spindle combination, that was over a year that I was building that, recording video and working on it. So digging back through a huge backlog with hundreds of hours of video, it takes a lot of time to edit. And then there's the combination of moving the camera around, making sure people can see. So anyway, the short answer to that would be it consumes a lot of time and effort in shopping for parts, making parts, and recording and editing the video. So what's left is super precious. And I have dedicated a certain amount of time, like for example, I have a whole schedule, but essentially a certain time in the evening, it doesn't matter how much I'm into my project, I will stop, I come in the house and I hang out with the kids, hang out with the family, and it's their time. I don't want to be checking emails during that time. I don't want to be thinking about my project at that time. It's for them. So there's a certain amount that I've sort of mentally blocked out to make sure that I spend with my kids and then also with my wife as well. So every evening, in fact, I make sure that there's a certain amount of time that me and my wife are alone. We can talk about whatever happened during the day, whatever's on her mind, and it's all about her. It's not about anything else unless she asks me about my day, which inevitably I end up talking about what I was doing at work and what I was doing in a YouTube video. But I also try to minimize that. It's like, oh, but what happened in your day? And I make sure it's about her. So that to me is an essential line you cannot cross. You don't want to lose that. The family is way more important than the day job. It's way more important than YouTube. But then there's other work too. So for example, I get hundreds of emails from you guys asking questions about all kinds of stuff. And I read pretty much all of them as far as I can tell, unless something gets lost along the way. But I've also opted to just not do any advice through email. Not only is it unsafe because I can't get all the parameters, It's just impractical. It's too many of you guys. So I keep my inbox empty by deleting all requests pretty much immediately for direct advice. I mean, it's the only way I can do that. And then all the other ones I'll read and I try to respond to them as quickly as I can. But even with that, I've set aside a certain amount of time. Okay, I'm going to check emails for this long, and then I'm done. I can't keep doing it because there are only so many hours in the day. Wow, I've spent a lot of time answering that question, but it's a really important question to me. So thank you for asking. The family comes first. I mean, you got to work to pay for the family, but don't ever abuse that idea. Make sure you give your family the priority over what is essential to, to meet your financial needs. So, Wesley, hey, with the super chat. Thank you, sir. What is your question? I couldn't find any online community for you, well, more of us, to share projects, get help. So I just made a subreddit for it. If you don't want it, I can delete it. Okay, subreddit fielding. Well, we got to check that out. That's cool. I'm on Reddit. I have a login for Reddit, but I barely use it. So I need to start checking that out. But yeah, I have no objection to it, at least not immediately. We'll see. Oh, chat is scrolling. Did I miss anybody? I did. I missed a super chat. Dr. Shiny, what is your favorite project you have made? And what do you want to make but haven't quite felt ready? My favorite project. Okay. My favorite project would definitely be my first clock. It was by far the hardest thing I've ever done. I was so engaged. It had planetary gears. I had Geneva wheels. I had all these different mechanisms that I just pressed together in my mind and set all the gear ratios so that it would tell time. And it was so satisfying to see that thing tick and work. And that was definitely my favorite project by far, but probably one of the worst performing videos on YouTube. I don't know why. Now, contrast that with my video where I basically took a rowing machine and turned it into a generator to power my kids' video games. Now, that was the easiest project by far that I've ever designed. Like in concept, it was super easy to me. It wasn't nearly as satisfying. And that one went all over the world. I had people emailing me from everywhere asking about writing articles on it, making more videos. Somebody translated my video into Russian and asked me if they could, use that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, they were going to play it live on Russian news. Anyway, things like that, it shocks me with how the internet works. The one I'm most proud of, the one I'm most excited about would be the first clock. The second clock was me trying to improve what went wrong with the first one in terms of my design approach. So yeah. And what haven't I quite felt ready to make yet? I have a project in mind, and the problem is I don't have an easy way to produce enough power to run it. So in terms of not quite feeling ready, it's more about like, how do I make the project a reality? I have the design in mind, and I don't want to reveal it right away in case somebody tries to scoop me, It's just, if you don't know what I mean, it's when people who follow you, if they have YouTube channels, they might try to steal your idea and like release it first to sort of scoop you and then ride your traffic. So when you release your video, then theirs will get more traffic. Some people are just dirty like that. But anyway, I found out that was a thing. I learned that from Destin. And so I try to be careful not to give away too much too early, as people will scoop you, as he's been scooped many times. And he showed me some examples. It's like surprising what people will do. Anyway, there's a scoundrel for everything on the internet. Hey, another super chat. Thank you. That's awesome. I want to do an electric conversion on an old pickup truck. Do you have a playlist on where I should start? I haven't covered this, and that's a monstrous project to turn a full-size vehicle into an electric conversion. I did make an electric go-kart, which will give you some basic ideas about how you might approach it. But if you're going to turn a vehicle, like a full-on vehicle, because of the weight, you might actually be interested in going with AC instead of DC. but that requires some much more expensive electronics in order to do that. I'm bringing this up because in that video, I recommend you lean towards DC to use batteries and such, but you can still use batteries and use AC, but just the conversion is a little more complicated and the parts are way more expensive. I'm gonna take a little sip break here. I want to answer as many of you as I can, so yeah, I'm gonna have to shorten that answer to, you got to do some homework on that one, man. Try to hire an editor. It's worth a try. More family time and more focus. I absolutely agree 100%. I would love to hire an editor. I just haven't made that transition yet. But I'm thinking about it with just about every video. I'm still not quite there yet in terms of, can I just be totally transparent and say that the videos don't make enough money to warrant paying someone yet. So there's certainly enough coming in to make this a fun hobby, but by no means is it enough to, fund paying someone to do editing and to farm out the task to someone else. I haven't crossed that bridge yet. So I actually, excuse me. I actually have that as one of my goals on Patreon, where once I reach a certain number of patrons, then I would be able to hire people to help me with building some parts, because there's some things that require machining, which I'm not very skilled at. I'm brand new. So those cross that threshold of like, I could make it myself, but I would end up costing me so much in time that the project would take months to do. So it would be better to pay someone else to machine those parts. But then, I can't afford it. Or the same with editing. So once I reach that certain threshold and there seems to be enough money coming in to support things like that, then I definitely plan to do it. But we are not there yet. We're just not there yet. But I'm definitely thinking about it. So thank you for pointing that out, though. What do you think the Packers will win today? Do you think the Packers will win? I have no idea. I'm actually not a football fan. That is a football team, right? Like, that just shows you how little I know. I don't follow football. I don't really follow any professional sport, actually. Maybe that's because I don't have time, but I am not a fan of any particular team. I am willing to watch it with friends. So if everybody's together and they're all like shouting at the TV and they're excited, then I'll go, yay, like for whoever is losing, but they just got a touchdown or something. Like, I'll cheer for that team. But when the game is over, I could care less who win or lost. And I would never sit and watch a football game by myself. So there you go. I hope I didn't terribly disappoint you just then, although I'm sure I might have for some people. Oh boy. I just want to let you know that your videos have taught me so much about electric motors, and it landed me a summer job. Dude, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. Let's see here. We've got, hey, super chat from Wes Weld. Jeremy, make a video with me on my channel. Not much in it for you, but I'd learn a lot. I'm flattered, man. That's awesome. I don't do a lot of collaborations, as you can tell from my channel. In fact, so far I've only planned 3 different collaborations, and only one of them has been published, and those are the videos that I've done with Destin. So I've got 3 projects published with Destin. 2 of the videos you see me directly, and one of them I was more in the background. You never really see me on camera, but I was there to help make the project come to life. So I've got that. And then if you've heard of the DroneBot workshop, I had a long-term collaboration plan with him, like over a year, that we were working on it. And then the coronavirus came about and it just wrecked our plans and made it so we couldn't do it. So I still plan to do a collaboration with him, but the topic is going to have to be different now, because the window of opportunity for that has closed. But I've been working with him. I think his channel is awesome. You should subscribe to him and let him know that I sent you, by the way, because maybe that'll be encouraging for him, I hope. So please do that. If So to answer your question, I'm going to say that I don't know that the time or schedule would work out that way. I'll certainly look at your channel though and just see. It doesn't hurt to ask. One ingredient for Solidworks is time. The other is computing power. Any spec suggestions for a beginner? That is a very fair question. Not one that I can really answer in this form, but Solidworks does have a list of specs on their website. And that's exactly what I used. I mean, the computer I'm using now was designed using the specs on their website as a minimum requirement. So this machine is a little bit more powerful than that. And it allows me to do my 3D modeling here. And also I do my video editing here. Fab Dragon out edit pro bono. Wow, man. Well, I don't think I would ask you to do that. And first, I'm really flattered that you will offer, but I don't ever want it to be something that is, well, really, there are two reasons I wouldn't want to do that. One, I wouldn't want you to sacrifice all of the time it would take for free. I don't know. I just wouldn't want you to do that. And then the other thing is it creates, it puts you in a difficult situation if I have a timeline. And that's a situation I don't ever want to put somebody in. If you're working for free, but I'm insisting that it's done by a certain time, like I would never want to ask somebody to do that. So because of those two things, I won't accept free labor for something like this. And thus I'm stuck doing it myself until I can afford to pay somebody what I think is the fair amount for the labor being done. But thank you so much for offering. I think a better contribution that you could make would be to, shoot a few bucks on Patreon or on PayPal, or you can shoot up a super chat here, and all those little things contribute to my capability of hiring somebody in the future. So that's the route that I would take with that. What type of engineering do you do in your day job? Obviously engineering, but what disciplines do you use? Phil Kelly, okay. Mostly what I use is mechanical design, but very often, because I work in research and development, I often have to put together mechanical design with electrical. And, but in terms of to dig any deeper, I would have to say stuff like, these things are often ranging from stuff designed in plastic all the way up to, huge metal structures that people might be walking on with stairs, and often this equipment moves. And so there'll be some type of drivetrain involved. There might be pumps involved. Like it could be a really, really wide range of things that I work on. And that's just kind of the nature of what I do. Some things sometimes it's, high speed stuff, and things working with, not really ballistics, but things that are happening really fast. Sometimes it's things that are happening really slow with lots of power. So the range is really wide, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do cool things like that. So I really love my job, and often every project involves mechanical design at the computer first. And if it's small enough, then I will build prototypes for my day job as well. So I hope that answers your question. What is the coffee or spirits in that tumbler? It is an energy drink, my friend. And yeah, because I didn't want to fall asleep on you guys. Not that I'm all that sleepy, but I wanted to make sure I stayed alert and could keep up. So that's what we have here. I don't drink alcohol, so there will be no spirits in there. Not that I'm opposed to people having alcohol. I just don't drink. Not a question that anybody asked, but I answered it. How often do you live stream like this? This is absolutely the very first one. And maybe what I want to know is, how often should I live stream? I don't know. Would you guys like to see more live streams? And maybe not put that in the chat because I'm trying to read all the chat in real time, but jump over to, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the comments are showing over there or not, but, or even if you can post a comment, maybe it only goes into the chat window. So anyway, I'll be able to go back and read this again later. So yeah, if you guys want to see more live streams, let me know. and we will do that. I'm going to get rid of this watch because I don't want text messages coming in while I'm trying to read the chat here. Let's see. Oh boy, there's a bunch of them jumped in there now. Kevin with the super chat. Thank you, sir. That was awesome, man. 2021 federal regulation will only permit variable speed drives sold for pool pumps. So keep an eye out for discarded drives down the road. Also, any projects suitable for pool pump motors you recommend. Projects for pool pumps. Well, those motors are almost always 3,600 RPM, so speed is a consideration. They're usually about 1 to 2 horsepower, so there's your size. And of course, it can vary, but that's the typical range that I've seen in my personal experience. I try to be really careful to qualify that because I think people make this mistake of saying, like, because I haven't seen it, it doesn't exist. And that's a logical fallacy, right? Like, of course not. No matter how much experience you have not seen every variation of everything. So never make that stupid claim, although people do it all the time. So anyway, in my personal experience, I haven't seen one. And I would say that, I don't know, right off the top of my head, at 3,600 RPM, that's pretty fast. You might want to slow that down with a pulley ratio, which would be pretty easy. And then you could make almost anything, right? If you have an appropriate size set of pulleys, maybe I would make my bandsaw out of it again or something like that if it had enough power. So yeah, maybe scroll back through my channel. I've made things like, I made a disc sander one time. That would be a pretty cool application of it. Again, using pulleys to adjust the speed. So there's that option. And maybe I'll just leave that there. Aiden Johnson, hey, senior engineering student here. As I start to get more of a disposable income, what tools would you recommend buying? In what order? I have most of the basic non-power tools. Well, I don't know. It kind of depends on what you're making, right? So I would prioritize them based on your projects. If you have an idea and you need a bandsaw to get the curves and the shape that you want, then maybe the bandsaw is the first one that you buy. And I would also say, start on the cheaper end, and then, you can upgrade later to a more powerful, more expensive brand, if you will, later. I try to avoid recommending a specific brand because I think it varies a lot depending upon the person. So if you're working in an industrial environment where you need your tool to be really reliable for a long time, then yeah, you should spend a little bit more money on your tool. But if you are a hobbyist and you're only using it on the weekend, then maybe you should buy a cheaper tool. And even if it breaks, you could buy a second one and you still haven't spent as much as you would have spent on the more expensive one. So I never recommend a specific brand for that reason, because I think it depends a lot on who you are. In my personal case, I started out with very, very cheap tools. And over time, I started making my own tools. So I hardly ever buy a tool anymore. If you look at my YouTube channel, almost everything in my shop is made by me. So I'm also unusual, right? I wouldn't necessarily tell you to build your own power tools. If you're not excited about it, it's not worth it. The only reason it's worth it to me is because I love doing it. So yeah, that's as good as I can answer that question, I think. You got to decide what balance of cost versus benefit that you want and longevity, but then also it depends on your projects. Hey, bro, I can't read that name. It's in a different language. Please give me an idea. Make about a rotary encoder with settings for scaling, run revolution. A little bit too complicated of a topic to answer here. Hey, hold on, some more super chats. Excuse me, guys, Nicholas Penny, I am not an engineer, more of a tinkerer that dabs in a lot of stuff, but wanted to show you support. Dude, thank you. That's amazing. This is how we get more videos, guys. Stuff like this. You make it so that we can get this stuff done. Wish I had more. Wish you had more what? Anyway, thanks for the super chat. All right. Have you looked at the recent Tesla motor construction? I covered that earlier. You might be new here, but I don't know very much about the Tesla motors or what they have going on there. But I am thinking about making a video about it because it seems to be a topic that comes up pretty regularly on my channel. This is history. I'm glad to be a part of the first live stream. Mark, thank you for being a part of the first live stream. It's because of you guys that I can do this. If there was nobody here, I wouldn't be talking right now. So is there a way for me to see how many are here right now? I don't know. I can see at least 300 are watching. That's pretty cool. Wow. Wow, 300 people. Okay, love your stuff. And considering that this was just, at a specific time of the day, right? That's pretty amazing. A lot of people will be able to watch it later, though. I do plan to leave this video posted so you can watch it later. And did I miss anybody? All right. Oh, another super chat. Wish I had more. My doesn't go. Okay. Oh, man. Let's see here. Mechanical engineer here. My graphing calculator died a while ago, but I've been debating if it's worth replacing it. Do you use yours in your projects and day-to-day job? So this is my graphing calculator. I use this dude every single day, like every single day. I am constantly, and sometimes it's just like stupid, simple, multiplication. Sometimes it's a little more complicated. Almost never calculus level complicated though, which I think is a misconception people have about engineering. You do use it very, very occasionally, but at least the type of work that I do, it doesn't come up that often. So algebra is your friend. You definitely need to have some serious algebra skills though. All right. You do amazing things. Keep the videos coming. That was Mark. All right. Definitely worth having a graphing calculator. Enjoying the live stream in the background as I work. My next project might be a bandsaw. Good ones are so expensive. You are right about that. Mine is actually 4 horsepower. So consider for a moment how much it would cost to get a 14-inch, 4 horsepower bandsaw with 11 inches of resaw height. But I didn't build it to save money. I did not build it to save money. I built it because it was fun. Let's see. Spill the secret of the free power generator. Oh boy. I need to take a sip before I answer that one. Well, this, my friends, comes up all the time. And I get the impression here that this might be a joke. I kind of hope it is. But playing with sarcasm there. But sometimes it's not. And I get lots of people who really believe that you can get what I would generally refer to as either perpetual motion or over unity. Over unity just means that you are putting out more power than you're consuming. And it just does not exist yet. At least in my personal experience, I've never come across a machine or a design that can do that. I would love for someone to send me their plans of their proposed perpetual motion machine or free energy device. Now notice I'm not talking about solar power or wind or using currents or using waterfalls. That is free energy in that it's energy stored up in nature because of gravity or solar energy and so on. Of course, those things exist. We're talking about those that purport to put out more energy than it consumes. And I just haven't seen it yet. So I am open to the possibility that it might exist, but that seems to contradict the laws of physics. But laws are meant to be broken. So if somebody has real plans, then I would love to see them. I'm willing to even build it on my channel and prove it out before the world, because these are often associated with conspiracy theories, right? That we're trying to the government's trying to hide these free energy devices so we keep paying for power or something. I don't know. But um, I think the smart play would be to generate the free power and then still sell it to people if you wanted to scam somebody. But anyway, I don't think I don't think it exists, and I would love to be proven wrong by virtue of like actually being able to test it. So if somebody has real plans and they're willing to send it to me, I'll try it out. Now, I'm not going to review a whole bunch of YouTube videos though, because there are so many fake ones out there. I can't do that. So sometimes you, in favor of someone else, will like send me this video. I get a bunch of emails about this as well. Hey, I saw this free energy device. Is it true? Can you test it? Under those circumstances, I'm going to say no because they haven't actually shown you how to do it. And most of the time, there's some trickery involved. And I show you some examples of that in my relay video. So if you watch that video on like a beginner's guide to relays, I show you how someone can use a relay to trick you into thinking that there's free energy being produced. So it's worth watching that video to just get a basic idea of what I'm trying to explain here so I don't consume too much time on that topic. But yeah, I haven't seen one. Is it possible? Not based on the current understanding of the laws of physics, but I'm willing to be wrong on that if somebody would just send me detailed plans that show how it can be produced so I can replicate it, because that's real science, replicating it. Not just one random guy's backyard experiment that nobody else can do. Right? Right. It sure gets a lot of views on YouTube though. So if I released a video that said free energy device, boy, I'd get millions of clicks. And that's what people want. They want your clicks. So they keep making those videos. All right. I'm going to get off my soapbox there because that's a fun topic. How would you calculate motor size for a project? Did you go over that in a video? Quite literally the last video I posted. Oh boy. Let's break the laws of thermodynamics. Yes, exactly what I'm just saying. Well, let's see here. Oh boy, I'm seeing some comments on the free energy. I may have just started something. I'm not going to answer any more questions about free energy though. Oh, am I catching up? I think I'm getting close to the bottom. Oh, wow. All right. That's cool. Let's see. It exists in your brain somewhere. Do it. I have no idea what that is. Let's see. Is it possible to limit the amp output of a car alternator but keep the voltage the same? The short answer is yes. You're going to need some special equipment for that. And that's probably all I'm going to be able to say about that. Well, I say special loosely. You're going to need something to control the amp output. But yes, it can be done. Stealing some batteries will get you free. Who said that? That's Chris. Thank you, Chris. I agree. That's funny. Steal some batteries. You got it for free. Except for the energy it took physically for you to go over and lift the batteries and carry them away. But you can probably get more energy out of those batteries than you put into the system. So that might actually qualify as an over unity device. Wow. I think we just solved it. I love you guys. This is like my home, man. You guys are amazing. Oh, and girls. Are there any girls here? I don't know. According to my YouTube analytics, I only have about 5% female viewers. So there's an extremely high probability that all of you are men. Hey, let's see, 3D Head Tutor. Thanks for the super chat, man. And thanks for the compliment. That's awesome. I always explain the 3 laws of thermodynamics. I said I wasn't going to say any more about that. But you are right, Phil. The laws of thermodynamics are kind of a problem for free energy. Oh no, I'm running out of energy here. Oh my goodness. It's 1:30. Okay, I thought I was going to do this for an hour, and we have been at it at an hour and a half. Holy cow. You guys want to keep going? Let me see something in the chat. If you guys, I hope you're not getting bored or anything, right? You all still interested and still wanting to participate? Just let me know down in the chat section, and maybe I'll wrap this up and go find something else to do. No, this is pretty exciting though. I'm glad to keep you here. All right. All right, getting ahead. Yes, girls are here. Awesome. Thank you. Y'all, welcome the ladies into the house. Let's see. Do you think it's more important to learn theory before doing a project or getting down to it and learn on the job? Okay, my whole channel is based on the idea that practical application is the most important thing. And professors get on to me about this in email. So they watch my videos. I say they get on to me. They're always, polite and kind and even compliment me. But I get emails like this from like professors at universities all the time. Like, oh, I love your content. And I even show your videos in my class, but I wish you would go more into this, or talk about these various theories. And the problem I have with that is if it doesn't directly apply, like if you don't absolutely need that knowledge to apply it to the job, then I think you shouldn't make videos about it. It doesn't mean that you can't teach it. That's what college is for. But for me, when you click on my video, I want you to walk away feeling like I can go do something with what he just showed me. Like that's my number one goal. And every once in a while, I will step on that line of theory just enough so that I feel like to make sure you understand what's happening. But if I can't show it to you with a physical part, like if you guys, I'm assuming many of you have been subscribers for a while, and you see the videos where I cut the motor open and show you a cross section on the inside. There's a reason that I spend an extra 3 hours or so like cutting this motor open carefully instead of doing some kind of animation on the screen, because I really want you to be able to apply it. And I don't want you to be scared to open the motor and not really know what the parts look like. So you're a whole lot less intimidated if you see a real part versus this cartoon drawing that you see in textbooks and stuff like that. So you might have just stirred up a soapbox for me there. I don't know, but it's a topic I'm really passionate about. Practical application first, and then theory only if you're interested, right? I am definitely interested in theory, guys. Like that's why I buy the books. So I don't make videos about those things, but I want to know more. So for example, this is not an exciting topic to make a video about, but have I read every page in this book? You better believe I did, because I was interested. So theory is for those who want to sit down and really engage on their own. But in terms of like what I will make a video about, and even what I think you should do to get started, I think if you want people to be excited and you want people to be interested to learn something new, you show them the practical application first. It works with kids, it works with adults, it works with everyone. You do that first, and then you can build on it, and they'll show their own interest, and then they'll go buy their own book if they want to know more. At least that's how I feel about it. The school approach seems to be inundate our kids with theory about things that they'll never actually touch or use, and give them all this knowledge because it makes them feel great. And then they don't apply it. And then they don't remember it. And that's why I have to make things, talk about things that maybe you learned in high school sometimes in videos, because we forget. We never have an opportunity to apply it, and the information's gone. So there you go. Did I miss a super chat? Oh no, where'd it go? Mad Scientist, there it is. Thank you, Jeremy, for the great content and really interesting projects. A future project might be a rotary power converter, or exploring if a static phase converter could be constructed. Okay. Well, the rotary phase converter I've done before. There's a video on my channel about that. And I show you 3 different ways that you can make 3-phase power with single-phase power. But static phase converter, I haven't tried to make one. And the name is eluding me right now. There's a YouTube channel. Maybe I'll go back and add it into the description that where he's an electrical engineer, and he did a pretty good video about like a homemade, phase converter that's static. So anyway, oh, female engineer, really? Welcome to the chat, young lady. I'm so excited to have you here. Oh, why haven't I found, anyway. Speaking as an engineer, should creamer be added to coffee? Absolutely not. Coffee should be black. There you go. If you add creamer, it's no longer coffee. Now it's some, combination. It's a new hybrid liquid. It's no longer just coffee. That's my strong and unusually powerful stance on that topic. Actually, that's not entirely true, because I do add sweetener to coffee, but only sweetener, no creamer. Let's see. Jacob, you are awesome, man. Jacob Kowalski? I just butchered your name, didn't I? Is that Russian? What is that? I don't know. Awesome name, though. All right, you are awesome, man. Your shop vac vid helped me a lot. That is, ask for anything. What do you think about my new cat? I have mixed feelings about your cat, my friend. I think I'm going to have to see it in person to come up with a final resolution about that. YouTube generally skewed toward male. When a channel doesn't, it skews hard female. Living at your parents' is free energy. I cannot argue with that, my friend. Cannot argue with that. Oh boy, let's see. What open source things are you doing right now? I don't have any open source things that I'm doing right now. I do have several ideas in mind. There is a project coming up, which I don't think I want to reveal here, but there'll be like free plans available. I've done paid plans before, and I probably will do it again in the future. But this one's kind of a passion project for me, and I want to make sure that the maximum number of people will actually build this. So with that being said, I might do something like, I don't know, either make paid plans, because it's going to be really hard I'm going to spend a lot of extra hours doing the plans. I might do like a paid version and a free version, or I might say, like, I don't know, do something silly like post a picture of yourself with an empty wallet, and I'll give you the plans for free. I don't know. But anyway, in terms of open source and the things being like freely available online, I do have a few projects coming up. I don't want to reveal them just yet, because some of them are pretty stellar. So I wouldn't want to get scooped on that. My question, have you ever tried Fusion 360? What do you think about it? I have tried Fusion 360, and who is that? That's John. No, that's Lucas. Lucas, have you ever tried Fusion 360? I have briefly used Fusion 360, so I have to limit my opinions on it. I mean, I have it on this computer right here, but I've barely used it, so I don't have much of an opinion on that software. Let's see. Let's see. If we were bored, there wouldn't be 364 people. Is it still 364? Oh no, it's 358 now. So somebody was bored. No, of course not. Some people have to go to work. People have things to do, right? Like you might get called away. Okay, but I agree. There's still a lot of you, so we'll keep going for a little while. Thank you for that. That was Phil. Keep going, please. Just join. Keep it going. Oh no, we got new ones coming in. I didn't consider that would be an option. Since it went live at 12, I thought people might think it was too late. But yeah, John Brown, would you help me? It depends on what you want. So if you want free engineering device, I have to say no, unfortunately. Unless it's like a real quick, just something right here, ask your question. But I get inundated, I mean, swamped with engineering questions through email and through the comments. and it is literally impossible for me to help everyone with their problems. So as fun as fun is maybe the wrong word because it will consume a lot of energy and time. It's something that I'm not 100% opposed to in the terms of just wanting to do it, but from a practical standpoint, it just doesn't make sense. And also consider what it would cost to actually hire a real engineer, like somebody who gets paid to do engineering work and you get free advice from them. Like that's just unheard of, right? Maybe it's not unheard of, but I think at this scale, it's not reasonable. So um, I was about to apologize, but I don't, apology is also wrong. I don't think it's practical to do that. So that's kind of how it has to be at this scale. And I am generally not for hire either. Maybe that's the smart follow up there. Sometimes I get emails from people offering to pay. And with those kind of hurt. Those are hard because they're showing the right attitude. They're like, dude, I realize that this takes time and effort and I'm willing to, pay you for your time. But at that point, also keep in mind that I'm also trying to schedule time for my family. And so I often turn those down too. I haven't turned down all of them. Like if a company emails me and they want engineering work and the scale is large enough that it makes sense, then I've accepted, I've done work like that. But in general, if it's one-on-one, like even if you're offering to pay, it's like, that's hard. I just say that's hard. I won't say I never do it, but that's hard. Let's see here. Oh, super chat popped up. Who is that? Nitro Max. Why couldn't an electric car charge itself? Actually, that's a fair question. I'm going to answer that because it consumes more power than it generates. That's why. So the idea, in case you don't know, is that if you are driving a car with, say, a DC motor, and then you have an alternator connected to the belts that's also driving the wheels, then you're also turning the alternator, right? So what if the alternator is connected to the battery? Well, now you're sending juice back to the battery. But there's a problem. Running the alternator itself consumes more energy than what you will be putting into the battery. So eventually what you end up with is a battery that dies faster because now there are more components consuming power. It's impossible. You cannot generate more energy than you are putting into the system. So yeah, what you're going to end up with is a really, really inefficient car. It won't drive nearly as far as a car that didn't have an alternator at all because you don't have an additional component consuming power. So there you go. The same thing happens with your gas car, by the way. The power being put into the alternator is not all being transferred to the battery. There's some loss at every component. Even the belts are wasting some power. They're flopping around, they're wasting power and heat. It can't work. But thank you for the super chat. Dude, that's awesome. For those of you who don't know, if you just got here, the super chat is a way of getting your comment highlighted. So if you haven't seen that at the bottom, you can use that and that money will go to help me make more stuff like this, not just these live chats, but I'll be using this money to fund projects in the future for buying parts and so on. So anyway, thank you for supporting the content. That's amazing. And I think you can even post a super chat without a comment. Like if you just want to support, that's cool too. All right. Wish I had your talent. You are awesome. That's John. Thank you, sir. I am flattered. You probably have different talents though. My talents are highly focused into just a few areas, I think, in my opinion. I'm surely lacking in some other areas, but how you include your kids in the workshop. That's easy, man. I just bring them out there. Now, there are things to consider. Who was that? That was, I don't know how to say your name. I'm going to butcher it. But anyway, the comment is how you include your kids in the workshop. So essentially what I do is I just drag them out there, not unwillingly. I mean, I'm making a joke when I say I drag them. I usually invite them out like, hey, I got something I want to show you. Or I want to teach you how to do something. Come look at this. Or sometimes like, what are you doing? Come here. We're just going to go to the workshop. It's totally up to you to cross that barrier and just make it happen. Very, very rarely will your kids come up to you and just say, hey, can you take me to your workshop? They might even be thinking it, but they might not do it on their own. So it's up to you to go up to them and say, we're going to go out to the workshop today. Hey, here's some safety glasses, and this thing is loud, so here's some hearing protection, and let me show you how it works. It's totally up to you to just absolutely make it happen. And that's what I do. I just make it happen. I don't do it every time because I'm also driven to get the job done. So kids make things go a little bit slower, right? You're trying to be careful with them, make them safe. And so you go a little bit slower or you be patient. The project needs to be a little bit simpler, but it's worth every minute to just stop for a while and bring them out there, especially if you want them to be interested and ever do this on their own. It's going to take you taking them out there. So, okay. How are we doing here? Let me bring up this other window and current. Okay, we're doing okay. Looks like. All right, just had to check, make sure my streaming was still good. I thought I saw a little glitch there, but it says the feed is excellent. Is the feed still excellent for you guys? Cool. Wish I had your talent. I read that. Bro, why did you stop the shredder project? Because I'm not interested in it anymore. That's the short answer. The longer answer, which I'm willing to give here, is other projects started piling on top of it. And so I don't need a shredder anymore. I was trying to do some things with plastics. I found a better way to do it. And so I no longer need it. And with other projects piling on top, I felt no compelling reason to keep working on it. So there you go. You got your answer. I kind of feel like you might have asked that in the comments somewhere before. So I'm glad you came here and asked it. Now you got your question answered. Okay, would you be more open to help someone if they publish their project open source on Hackaday or Instructables? The answer is the same as all the others. It still consumes a great deal of time. So I can't do it. Scrolling a little bit. I'm working on making my old mobility scooter to go faster. Have any tips? That's David. Tips for making it go faster. Well, it depends on the controller, but there's a high probability if you increase the voltage, like use more batteries and put them in series, then it'll go faster. But your motor needs to be able to handle that. So again, this is why I try to be careful about giving advice, because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about 1,000 caveats now, all of which require some explaining. So I'm going to keep the answer real short and say it's possible. Increasing the voltage in many cases will increase, not in all cases, but in many cases will increase the speed. But there's a good probability you're going to overheat the motor because the motor wasn't designed for a higher voltage. Short pulses would work. Like there's a bunch of little things in there that makes that question more complicated than it sounds. So yeah, those are my short tips. Voltage would, lead you in the right direction. There's some other things you could do, but I think I'll cut it short there. Let's see. Ooh, I missed a few. Let me back up a little bit. Super chat. Hey, Noxon? With the euros, $5. I'm calling it bucks, but it's euros. I don't know what that translates into dollars, but thank you. It's awesome even if it's just $1. The amount doesn't really matter, actually. It's just pretty humbling, actually, that you guys would give anything. So thank you for that. I love your content. This is Steve Cross. The company that created the Black Fly claims they get 42 horsepower from a 2-pound electric motor in flight. It's about power to weight. How do they do that? I have no idea. I have no idea. If they're even doing that, I have no idea. A 2-pound electric motor sounds really, really small. Is there even enough copper in 2 pounds to get 42 horsepower? That's an enormous amount of current. I don't know. Whew. So maybe you could get 42 horsepower for like 2 seconds before it burned up. I have no idea. I haven't considered all the parameters. There's a lot of things I don't know. So I can't say it doesn't exist. I wouldn't say that. I'm working on making, oh, I read that already. I must have backed up a little bit. It's almost 8 o'clock here. Have to sign off. No! Mug Savage is signing off. We're going to miss you, dude. Thank you for joining me, man. I was glad to have you here, even for a few minutes. I don't know how long you've been logged in, but thank you for hanging in there. What's the best way to power a treadmill motor without the original treadmill electronics? And you might be new. I covered that earlier. I have a whole video on that topic. Search my channel for treadmill motors, and you should find it. Ooh, almost 2 o'clock. Wow. Okay. 15 minutes, guys. If you got it, put it in the chat. I'm going to go to 2:15, and then I'm just going to call it because, wow, this is, I didn't expect it to be this long. Let's see. John agrees that it glitched briefly. I say he agrees. He said it glitched briefly, but he's back in there now. I think I missed a super chat. Eric, thank you, man. Thank you. And the little dancing thing. I haven't seen that one before. That's cool. Eric, you're awesome, man. So thank you so much. Nerd alert. Is that me? Am I the nerd? Yeah. Do you use a 3D mouse? Of course. There it is right there. I thought maybe you guys could see that. Okay, how about a quick review of what's on my desktop? So this is a Lumix G7. It's kind of an older camera. This is what I use for making most of my videos. I have 2 of these. I am streaming with the GoPro right here, and then I have a regular webcam. I am, so typically when I shoot over my screen here, I will have this camera back there. And so those are the shots that you see from here. I've got Shuttle Pro. I use this for video editing. And that's okay. I kind of wish they had a wireless version, but it makes it a little easier for video editing. I showed my graphing calculator, which I use every single day. My calipers, which is an essential tool for any engineer to have. I have, weirdly, a stepper motor driver that's strapped to probably a small motor back there. I know that's a crazy thing to have on your desk, but I was testing a concept. That's actually for work, not for YouTube. But again, giving you an idea of how wide the variety is. Okay, so that's that. Let's get back in here. When you have a minute, check out some, that's not a question for me, I don't think. Nothing to ask, just have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you. How are we doing on time? Oh, we got 15 minutes. All right. If you got it, you better stick it in there. I'm going to try to get all these questions answered. Let's see. Love your videos. Thank you for that. You're not an engineer. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm not sure if that's for me or not. Okay. Anyway, you're welcome to post your comments, though. Let's see. I didn't catch if you answered this earlier, but what got you moving from science to engineering? Well, that's a good question. I like that one. So, oh, whoa, super chat popped in. Okay, I'll come back to that one. Thanks for the super chat. And actually, I'll answer both. Keep up the great work as an engineer. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. $20, man. You guys are amazing. Okay, what got you moving from science to engineering? So, all right. Essentially, it was a project that I wanted to build for my kids. So way back when I first started my YouTube channel, I wanted to build a clubhouse for my kids. I had zero power tools. I had none of that at my house. Unless you count an electric drill, which, you have for hanging pictures and stuff. I wanted to build a clubhouse. And so that led me to download some 3D CAD software. I think it was SketchUp. It was SketchUp. And I modeled the clubhouse and I built it. And then I thought, man, this is a lot of fun. I think I want to build something else. And that's what started the whole woodworking. So I've only been really woodworking and doing this kind of stuff for maybe 6 years now, 5, 6 years. So that's what got me interested in the topic. And then that led to engineering because I became more interested in how to make things move. Like I had this really tiny workshop. If you look at my old videos, you'll see that everything like tucks under the workbench and things are mounted on the wall. And I came up with all these crazy ideas about how to get things to like fold and tuck away. That was a really driving factor for me. It's like, how do I get everything into this space as small as possible? And that's really what led to engineering because I kept going back to, well, how do I design levers? Like, how do I design these different mechanisms? How do I design gears? And along the way, I posted a couple of videos about that, but I wasn't an engineer at the time. So like, if you look at my channel, the first 1, 2, maybe 3 videos, I was not an engineer yet, or not doing it professionally. So it was around that time that I met an engineer who I knew from other stuff. Anyway, I knew him in real life and I had known him for a couple of years and I knew what he did. So I just asked him one day, I said, how do you become an engineer? Like this is becoming a passion of mine, this whole topic. And he offered me an internship. But that was after a series of things happened. So I posted a video about how this came about. And that video is on my channel. It's called Who Is This Guy? So I will leave that to that video to get the rest of the story. But there's more to that story. And I made a video about that on my YouTube channel. All right, did I capture that super chat? I did. Keep up the great work. I read that one as well. But does nothing to eliminate. Yeah, even engineers make typos. So, in fact, I probably make more typos than I ever would want to admit. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing good. And look at the questions. You guys are still popping in there. How many around? Oh, man. You guys are still hanging in there. Okay, so I am literally building a clubhouse at this very moment. Steven. I've seen it pronounced both ways. Man, that was a really fulfilling project. Please get that done. I would encourage any of you with kids to build, even if you build like a little hut, it can be just a silly little nothing that sits on the ground. It's worth it. It doesn't need to be up in a tree or anything special like that. If you want to see the clubhouse that I'm talking about, you can see it in my video where I say things you can make with a treadmill motor or things you can make from treadmill parts. It's one of those two. At the very beginning of that video, I am pulling the treadmill and it's right in front of the clubhouse that I'm talking about. So that was the clubhouse that got everything started. Yeah. So much fun. Having a PhD doesn't make you God. Boy, that's the truth. It simply means you have been exposed more often than most. You may be smarter than most of those in some area of life. Okay, just a statement, which is fine. Love the story on how you got started. That was Eric. And thank you, Eric. Couple of comments between others. I was wondering if you would consider doing an interview for my small talk show. Well, maybe. It kind of depends on when you need it done, but certainly just go to my website and send me an email and I'll check it out. So you should do that. we might be able to work that out. Let's see. What affordable 3D printer do you recommend? I try to be really careful with recommending tools. And I talked about this earlier. So if you are new here, you should go back to the beginning and watch the beginning. So I am super hesitant about recommending tools. Yeah, I've used the Prusa and it seems to get the job done and the price seems to be right. I get access to it through my job, so I haven't purchased one for myself. I also have access to one at our local library, which is what I recommend most people do, to see if there's a makerspace or a library or something nearby that will give you free access to this equipment. You don't have to have $1,000 machine in your house if you're not printing that often. You can drive over to your local library and get it printed. So that's the only machine I've had exposure with. And with that limited knowledge, I will say it seems to get the job done if it's worth the money. But that's probably all I want to say about that. Yeah. Andrew, hey Jeremy, just watched you and Destin destroy the baseball record. Hello from the UK. Hey man, UK in the house. What time is it there? Wow, it's 2:08. Hey guys, 2:15. I'm gonna pull the plug. If you got it, if you want to throw in a super chat or give your comments or whatever you got, now is the time to hit me up with it. Let's see here. How do you know the guy from Smarter Every Day? Okay, that's Destin, and I met him at ThinkerCon, and I'm gonna try to save a little bit of time here to get as many questions in as I can. But I met him at ThinkerCon, and I mean, almost instantly, man, I just knew, it was like, this is a cool dude, man. He's got kids like I do, and so we have similar sized families. Our kids are similar ages, and we're both interested in science. And because I have that science background, I'm interested in science, and I'm also interested in engineering. And he has a similar background. There was just a lot to talk about. So we quickly drew a real strong connection. And then that led to, hey, let's make some videos. And we did. So there you go. Let's see, there are a few good videos on YouTube that explain a lot of autobiographical information. Okay, we'll skip that one. If you created a Tinkerer 101 kit, what would be in it and why? So that's Wolf. Well, if I created a Tinkerer kit, I guess I have two thoughts about that. One, it will probably be things like a multimeter. Yeah, I mean, multimeter will be first. You need some basic tools. And it kind of depends on if you're talking about tinkering with electronics or you're more interested in tinkering on the mechanical side. So I want to think about that, and maybe I'll make a video on that topic. I think that would be an interesting video. And maybe I'll actually call it like Tinkering 101, What You Should Buy. Let me know what you guys think about that. I think that's a topic worth exploring because it's a common question. So Wolf, I'm gonna have to put a hold on your question there, but maybe hopefully I'll answer it in the future. Do you have any other job or just YouTube? I answered that earlier. Yes, I'm a mechanical engineer on my day job, and I work in research and development. So we design and make all kinds of stuff that's never been made before. And the range is really wide, really wide. Range in terms of the type of things that we make. There's no specialty. Not that I would call a specialty. Can you do a collab with Bob from I Like to Make Stuff? That's Brandon. So Brandon, I actually know Bob from I Like to Make Stuff, and we have each other's phone number. We talk on the phone. He's a really cool dude. We haven't talked about doing a collab. There's obviously no restriction on doing that. We just haven't talked about it. So he's a really, really amazing person. You guys should subscribe to him if you're not subscribed. So the short answer is, I know Bob. I don't have any immediate ideas for how we might collab, but certainly I'm not opposed to it. It'd just be if it comes up. Systems Hacker 23. Hey, Jeremy, I'm a mechanical engineer. I would like to improve my skills on machining hardware and building stuff outside of school. Any suggestions? Well, if you want a machine, then you're going to need to get some kind of machine. I mean, I recently bought a Bridgeport, a really old one. I found it on Facebook Marketplace. I often check like industrial auctions and other places looking for equipment. But I suggest if you want to get into it long term and you really want to commit to it, as I plan to, then it's worth buying something like, I don't know, whatever your budget can afford. I would go as big as your budget will allow you to get. And also be willing to, don't be impatient. Like if you're going to be watching auctions and watching the marketplace, that stuff doesn't come up very often. You're going to need to be willing to invest like 2 or 3 months to get the best combination of price and size of equipment. So you can see the Bridgeport that I bought in the background of the video I posted about this live stream, but I'm going to delete that video in probably an hour or so. So if you want to see that, you should like click on that pretty quick. Oh wait, actually there's a better option. If you go to Instagram and go to my Instagram page, which that is in the video description, then you'll see a picture of the Bridgeport there. Him and Destin look like lifelong friends, birds of a feather for sure. Yeah, man, we've been friends for a long time. Oh, wow, 213. If you guys got it, throw it in there. I'm gonna let me scroll back and try to see if I missed a bunch. You're a brilliant individual. Thanks for sharing. Dude, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Hello from Mexico City. That's David. This is fun, even if he doesn't answer my question. Thank you for that, because this is hard. My voice is getting hoarse. Can you guys tell? I've been talking for 2 hours straight. I didn't realize that would be a thing. And I'm out of energy drink. Yeah, that's the bottom of it right there. Did I make it to the bottom? All right, I'm gonna actually go to the bottom and work my way up. 1 minute to go. I enjoy your videos. Keep it up. Quick question. How important is Solidworks for a mechanical engineer? Wish you all the best. It's not essential by any means. They definitely have, some competition, but many of the companies that I have interacted with, including the 2 companies that I've worked for as a mechanical engineer, use Solidworks. So in terms of mechanical design, in my opinion, they seem to be the leader in that department. So it's a good package to be familiar with at least. And but certainly people use other CAD packages. So I would say it depends on where you work. There are definitely other options. I have a broken treadmill in the basement, and every time I want to get it working, I think of you. Well, I'm glad I left that impression on you. Remember to like and subscribe. Hey, thank you for that. Imperial or metric from Mad Labs? Both, man. I live in the US, so I'm stuck using what's called US customary units. It's not just imperial. So the proper term would be customary units and metric. And if you want me to compare them, my tape measure usually has both on it. And so actually that one's got decimal inch on it, but all my other tape measures have customary on one side and metric on the other side. And that's a fun topic for me. See, it's like harmony, retina tape measure, just all married together. Can't we all just get along? It's going to cost too much money for the US to give up our units. We'd never do that. So just forget it. It's not going to happen. So I've just learned to love both, and I'm comfortable with both. I find myself in my videos talking. Sometimes I'll say the customary unit, sometimes I'll say the metric unit, and then I watch the recap and go, man, I'm totally mixing up the units there. But you guys love me anyway. So, man, it is 2:16. Wow, super chat right here at the end. I'm not going to let that go, though. Thank you, sir. Felipe Lewis for the super chat. You guys are amazing. My voice is getting tired. This was fun. I think I'll do it again. I hope you guys will come back and hope we can do this again. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to end the chat. Have a nice day. And there's a button somewhere to stop the chat. Where is that thing? Oh, there it is. All right, now I can say it again. You guys have an amazing day, and new videos will be coming out soon. Thanks for watching.